This week's Pilch Point with Avram Piltch is proudly powered by Monster. The headphones on my head, the Monster Elements, available right now in the full on-ear and over-ear styles. But, of course, full-size headphones aren't for everybody. They aren't for every environment. You can also get earbuds and a whole collection of other headphones and, of course, speakers from the tiny little hotshot to the big monster blaster and more, available by going to plughitslive.com/monster. And that music means that it is time for the Pilch Point with online editorial director of Laptop Magazine and Tom's Guide, Avram Piltch. Avram, we're going to be talking about some cool stuff. We've been looking forward to this for a while.
Yes. Okay, so let's jump right in.
Yes.
As many of you know, in my day job, I am the online editorial director for Laptop Mag, laptopmag.com, otherwise known as laptopmag.com, and Tom's Guide. And on Laptop Mag, every year since 2010, we release around this time of the year our best and worst laptop brands article. And tomorrow, actually, if you're not watching this live, it could be today or it could have already happened. And Monday, April 10th at 9 a.m., we are publishing the 2017 results from our best and worst brand ratings. So let's talk briefly about what it is and why you should care. Well, when you're buying a car, you probably come to a decision at some point, like what brand do I want or what brands am I interested in? And there's a lot of reasons why. Well, this brand has a reputation for quality. This one offers good warranty service. This one has good, is known to make quality products. So a lot of people look to things like JD Power and such to tell them, hey, what are the best car brands? Well, we do our own for the best laptop brands. And each year since 2010, we have evaluated brands on a number of criteria. This year, we graded them based on 6 criteria, and each of the 10 most popular brands was scored, and a score going up from 0 to 100. Some of the score is based on a large chunk of the score is based on their review score, how well the products that we reviewed of theirs did throughout the previous year. Some of it is based on their support quality, which derives directly from our Tech Support Showdown, which is where we do testing of their tech support. We published that a few weeks ago. Some of it comes from what their warranty coverage is like. They get scored on innovation, they get scored on design, and they get scored on value and selection. So just for the few people who are listening to this live, I've promised not to reveal who's number one until after we publish it, but I will tell you who's not number one. Apple is not number one. And this is a big deal because for the first 7 years that we did this, so every year before this one, Apple was number one. Tomorrow when we publish it, you'll see that Apple's not even number 2 or number 3. Apple is tied for 5th. So Apple dropped in a huge way because obviously the quality of their laptops in the last year and the value and selection have gone. A lot of people still love their MacBooks. Scott and I think are in mutual agreement that we're not Apple people, but even trying to look at it objectively in terms of not being an Apple person, not being a PC person, they have really abandoned a lot of their core market. They're pretty much killing anything that they're sub $1,000 laptops. Yes, you can still get the MacBook Air, but that's a 2-year-old product that seems like it's got a foot and 4 toes in the grave. And that's starting at $9.99. And then you got to spend at least $12.99, and you got to buy a whole lot of dongles because most of their laptops, except for the outdated ones, now have only USB-C or Thunderbolt ports. So they've become expensive. They've sort of prioritized gimmicks like the touch bar and the flat keyboard over real usability, and that hurt them.
And it didn't just hurt them in your scoring. It hurt them in, you mentioned JD Power. It hurt them in JD Power as well, where they were unseated from the number 1 spot there this year as well.
Yeah. Now,
so it's not just, we're not, just because you and I aren't necessarily Apple people, obviously that doesn't factor into this because JD Power hit them too. So
yeah. Also, I just want to make clear I don't do these by myself.
Right. It's not a one person rating
from,
system.
The way that it works is we have several people at Laptop Mag, and obviously the biggest weighting is on the review score, and that's things that have been reviewed throughout the year. I actually didn't do any of the Mac reviews this year. I think all of them were done by my boss, Mark Spoonhour, who I would definitely describe as a Mac guy.
Yeah.
So
I think that's a pretty good assessment.
Yeah. So it's definitely something where you're kind of seeing the tide turning, and then just Apple's also been slow to embrace technologies that people really want, like a real 2-in-1. So, so I think that's hurting them. On the flip side, without saying exactly who won, you see some brands that are doing really well this year, like Asus and Lenovo.
Sure.
And they're doing it by innovating, coming out with some neat things like the Yoga Book, by just giving a lot of value for the money. I mean, Asus is the best when it comes to value by far. I mean, it's just ridiculous how much you can get for how little with some Asus laptops. Like one of our favorites, the UX 330 UA, the ZenBook UX 330 UA. See that 5 times fast?
No, thank you.
Available on Amazon for $6.99. It comes with it's like 2.7 pounds. It lasts 10 hours on a charge, and it comes with a 1080p screen, Core i5, 8 gigs of RAM, and 256 gig SSD.
Nice.
So you're getting all of that for $700. That's pretty good, and that's just kind of the tip of the iceberg with like the kinds of like bang for the buck that you get from Asus. And
Sure.
You also get great designs like the ZenBook 3, which was really expensive, but the best looking laptop I saw all year. So, there's
And you have like you mentioned that that innovation and acceptance kind of fall into the scoring category, and Lenovo this year has embraced a wider market, right? They've got their the Yoga Book, which has supported both Windows and a desktop Android. Is that what it is? And then
a sort of a desktop Android, yes. So the Yoga Book is definitely like probably the most innovative product of the year. Now, mind you, I wouldn't necessarily say it's the best product of the year. Certain people love it and certain people hate it. Because trying to type on that keyboard is very polarizing experience.
Those two things don't necessarily go hand in hand. Innovation does not always breed good product, just unique product.
But it's unique, and there's definitely some learnings there,
for sure,
for them and for the market. And some people do love it. I also liked, in the case of Lenovo and Dell, this past year, being the first laptop makers to come out with an OLED screen.
Mm-hmm.
So Alienware 13 is available with OLED screen, and ThinkPad X1 Yoga also has an OLED screen option, and that's a great innovation that everybody should be following.
Yeah, for sure, because we're getting to a point where differentiating your hardware is going to start getting a little more complicated. And so screens seem to be the place that everybody has ignored for a very long time.
Yeah, I mean, you have some things with really good screens, but I think one thing that you don't see talked about a lot is screen color quality. You see resolution talked about a lot, occasionally brightness, but part of the problem is what people know is, and this is like even this craptastic phone I have in front of me was actually pretty good when I got it 3.5 years ago, has OLED. People look at their phones, and the decent phones have OLED. OLED looks better than real life. Like, to be honest, if I could change my eyeballs for OLED, like, I'd do it, because everything is so much more saturated and just looks so pretty. I'm not saying it's always 100% accurate, but it's pretty. It's nice. The colors pop. So it makes doing things just so much more enjoyable when the colors are really popping for you. And, unfortunately, people are usually limited to that on their phone, or there's a couple of pricey Samsung tablets, I think, that have OLED, and then there are high-end TVs that are very expensive that have OLED, but we're not really seeing it in computer monitors or in laptop screens, with a couple of exceptions.
Right.
So let's hope for more.
Definitely, because like I said, screens have been sadly left alone from a lot of the guys for too long, and I'm ready to start seeing quality screens.
So anyway, if you're interested in checking out Laptop Mag's Best and Worst Brands and finding out who won number one, or more importantly, forgetting who won, look at how the brands that you're interested in did and why. Like, if you're interested in buying an Acer and interested in buying an HP, does it really matter if they finished number one? You want to know how the brand you're interested in and why they did well or poorly. So anyway, so you can find all of that at laptopmag.com/articles/laptop-brand-ratings, or it'll be on our homepage for quite a while. But that's laptopmag.com/articles/laptop brand ratings with hyphens between the words laptop brand and ratings. And I'm sure we can post a link to that on our Facebook as well.
Fantastic. Well, I look forward to finding out who the leader is tomorrow, April 10th, 9 a.m. Eastern, right?
Yep.
Fantastic. And if you go to that URL now, you'll see last year's results, right?
Yes. So if you go to URL this very minute, you won't get a 404. You'll get last year's results, because we update the results there, every year. So URL stays the same, but the content changes annually.
Very cool. Well, I look forward to seeing that. I will be eagerly awaiting the results tomorrow morning, as I know.
You'll be live hitting F5.
Very nice.
On this page live hitting F5.
Very nice. So I look forward to that. Obviously, you'll be around the rest of the show, But for the Pilch Point, that's it.